Hey guys, Ryan here for Bender Wins. Hope everyone's doing well today. Today I'm going to start a new segment. This is our viewer question and answer. So you guys have been asking a lot of questions and I try to answer you guys in the comment section. But I just want to start like a new segment where I can kind of dive deeper into the questions you guys have. So tonight, coming off a win, we had Oakland, Seattle under 9. It was King Felix's last game. I honestly don't think there's a pitcher in baseball that's maybe more money over the years than Felix. If you guys watched that game tonight, like, wow. The emotion in that game was pretty amazing, to be honest. I hope you guys watched it. This guy is an absolute legend. Obviously, not a great year, but as I said in the video today, our daily free pick video, I figured he'd step up today, and he did. So, hats off, Tip of the cap to you, man. What a great career, but what an emotional game. What do you guys think? Did you guys watch that game? Like, you can't tell me you didn't get a little bit emotional during that. Like, that was awesome, especially if you're baseball fans. But anyways, guys, I want to jump into this. Again, any questions you guys have, like definitely any video, ask the questions. I'm going to like compile the questions and try and answer as many as I can in these videos. Maybe I'll do them weekly or every 2 weeks, whatever the case may be. So, question number one, when to take profits? That's a great question. It's something I get asked a fair amount of time because I preach, bankroll management, and I'm always talking about, growing your bankroll and the value of like compound interest. By growing your bankroll, it basically allows you to bet more per game, and that's the only way you should ever be betting more per game is if you're growing your bankroll. So let's say, again, I'll just throw it out as an example. Say you start with $1,000 in your account. Okay, you're betting 5%, so you'd be betting $50 a game. Now let's say you grow your account to 1,500. Well, you're still going to bet that 5%. But now you're betting $75 a game. And I'm using 5% as an example because you guys know I talked about this in previous videos, that 5% for your like recreational bettors, 2% for your aspiring pros, 1% of your bankroll for your professional gamblers. But we'll use recreational bettors, so call it 5%. So now you've grown your bankroll from 1,000 to 1,500, and you up your bet size to $75 instead of $50. Okay, your next milestone will be $2,000, and you'll continue to do that. But it's an excellent question I was asked: when do I take profits? And that's really a personal thing. It depends on your goals. For me, I'm constantly taking profits and growing my bankroll because obviously I want money to live on. But at the same time, I want to continue to grow my bankroll and continue to increase my bet size. So, for me personally, again, I look at it as, I want to keep growing my bankroll, obviously, but at the same time, I want to be able to take that money out. But I'm not going to be, if I'm adding, 5-6% to it, I'm not going to take that whole 5-6%. The way I would look at it is, you feel free to cash out half of what you've earned. So if you started with, for argument's sake, let's say you started with 1,000, okay, and you work your way up to 1,500. You can feel free to just keep the whole amount there and continue to grow it. Or if you do want to cash out at this point, I would recommend cashing out 250. So cash out the 250, take the 1,250, increase your bankroll, or pardon me, increase your bet size. In association with the 1,250 that you now have in your account. And you can continue to do it that way, but it's ultimately up to you guys. I talked about in a previous video, guys, if you're not cashing out and you're not doing things with the money, it just becomes a number in the account. And ultimately what you want is you want to turn this into real profit. You want to put it in your pocket. And half the excitement of betting on sports is going out and doing nice things for your family and, improving your lifestyle. And the only way you can do that is by cashing out. So again, guys, it was a great question. I really appreciate it. And I guess my answer to that is, if you're cashing out half the amount from your previous goal that you set, then that's good. That's ultimately what you want to do. So if that is your goal, start at 1,000, get it up to 500, cash out 250, then take it up to 1,750, cash it out down to 1,500, so on and so forth. Okay. But you do want to continue to grow your bankroll, guys, because the only way that you're going to really grow your bet size to the point where it can really be compound interest and continue to grow and just make more money. And that's how you grow your business, guys. And I've said it before, this is a business. You have to treat it that way. So next question. Again, great question. A lot of you guys just fail me online. You don't know much about me, but when did I start betting on sports? So really good question. I started betting on sports, in all honesty, when I was 10 years old. So I was born in 1982. And in 1992, when I was 10 years old, I used to go to work with my dad on the weekends. He had a tire store in Toronto, Ontario. And I used to go there and do just about the only thing a 10-year-old is qualified to do at the store, and that was clean tires. So I love going to work with my dad. It was such a blast. I had such a great time, and I would spend my whole day cleaning tires. And at the end of the day, my dad had thrown me $5 or $10, and thanked me for my hard work, my whole day of work, and to me that was like all the money in the world at the time. But I used to watch a lot of hockey with my dad growing up, and there's a thing in Canada back then. It was called Pro Line, and you could bet on 3 games. You could pick basically 3 games, and it was a parlay. You had to bet parlays. You couldn't bet them straight up. I didn't know any different back then at 10 years old. But my dad said at the end of one day, look, you love hockey, so instead of giving you the $5, I'm going to put $5. You pick 3 teams you think will win in the NHL tonight, and I'll make that bet, and I get to keep if I win. If I don't, I lose. So I did. And the 3 teams I picked, now at this time, San Jose Sharks had been in the league for 1 year. They were pretty much a brand new team, and that year there was 2 expansion teams, the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Ottawa Senators. To give you an idea about how bad those teams were, the Ottawa Senators only won 1 game on the road all year long. All year, they only won 1 game. So it was pretty easy for me to pick who I wanted to bet on. So I bet against Ottawa, I bet against Tampa, and I bet against San Jose. I bet $5 on the game, and the ticket paid $14. Well, I won the ticket. I got the games. I think Ottawa lost like 7 or 8-0 at the time. So, which they did, unfortunately, very often. Unfortunately for them, it was good for me. So I won that, and it was kind of eye opening. Like 10 years old. I don't know if it's a great lesson to be teaching your kids, but to be honest with you, my dad growing up, even as years went on, he's always been very supportive of me in my betting, and whether it's sports betting or I played poker for a number of years, but he's always been very supportive of me. And I think that was a big motivation, because you want to have support. You want, whether it's your spouse or significant other or whomever, you want that support, and you want to be able to have someone to share that joy with. And to me, it's always been my father. Is the first person I call when I have a good winning streak and tell him how great I'm doing. He's the first person I call when I'm on a bad losing streak to say, I don't know what's going on. And he always has those supportive words. But that's how I got started betting on sports when I was 10 years old. Fast forward to my first year of high school. I was in grade 9. And this is actually a pretty funny story. I was in grade 9, and I was basically running a sports book. I had all the students in my school betting on sports through me, and I had some, I guess you call them agents, who were taking my bets. And I'd be sitting in class, and people would come in and out of class, and they were always, kind of giving me money, or I was paying them, and vice versa, and taking bets. And one day I got called to the principal's office. Walked in the principal's office. First time I've ever been called to the principal's office. Walked in the principal's office, and there's my mom and dad sitting there. Asked to take a seat. I take a seat, and I proceed to listen to the principal tell my parents in front of me that he's pretty sure that I'm dealing drugs. That's actually what he said. So he said that the teachers have reported to him that every class I'm in, there's kids coming in and giving me money, and he's pretty sure I'm dealing drugs. And rather than call the police, he thought that he would have my parents come in and do an intervention. Well, I didn't say anything there. I mean, I was grade 9. I don't know how old you are in grade 9, like 13 or 14. I was terrified. So I went home. My parents asked me outright, "Are you dealing drugs?" I said, "No, I'm not dealing drugs. I'm dealing sports bets." And my mom did not find it amusing, to say the least. She was dead set against it. My dad said, maybe you might want to, consider other options than, becoming a bookie. But, that was really my start into sports betting, and I've always been fascinated by it. I love the numbers. I really I love math. I always have. Some of you guys commented on my NASA shirt. Yeah, okay. Nerd alert, but whatever. I like the numbers, and I like sports betting. I like probability. I like all that, guys. And that's really ultimately how I got started in sports betting. So, anyways, that's enough that I'll cover on that. I just want to get through a couple other quick things. Live betting. A few guys asked me about live betting. I don't personally do live betting, and I'm not saying that you can't make a lot of money doing it. I know there are people that do, but for me, live betting requires a totally different skill set. Live betting requires different databases, and you have to be very quick. The thing that has always kind of turned me off of live betting is a lot of sites, it's a lot of juice. A lot of sites you're paying minimum 115 up to minus 120 to lay bets on live betting. And how they derive these numbers are based on statistical probabilities that they have, and they've developed these using computers. So, they're constantly being adjusted, and yes, you can find advantages, you can find massive value in live betting, but you really, really need to know what you're doing. So for me, my databases are static. They don't change based on the results of the game. So I've always been someone who bets before the game, and that's it. I mean, I know some of you guys, you've messaged me, showed me your results, sent me pictures and stuff, and you guys do phenomenally well at live betting. But again, it is a totally different skill set. I'm not saying you have to choose one or the other, but if you specialize in doing something and that's what you focus on, you can be a lot more successful than, kind of being jack of all trades. And that's why, like I say, there's sports I don't bet on. I don't dive into live betting. I don't do daily fantasy because I dedicate myself 100% to winning on pre-game sports bets you place before the game starts. So again, it's a personal preference, but for me, guys, I think you should specialize in something. See if you can really excel at doing that, and down the road, it's something you might be able to add to your repertoire. But for me, it's full-time betting on pre-game sports, not live betting or betting on daily fantasy or anything like that. So last thing to dive into quickly, you guys asked me, am I on Twitter, Instagram? I don't really use Twitter. I'm getting into it a little bit more. I have a Twitter account. I barely use it, but I am on Instagram. If you guys want to find me on Instagram, look it up. It's under Bender Wins. Add me. Feel free to message me, and I'll definitely get back to you guys as quick as I can. Really quickly, last thing. This is really simple because you guys have heard it a million times. This question was, what's the most important thing in bankroll management? What's the most important thing in? I gave it away. What's the most important thing in sports betting? You guys heard it. It's bankroll management, guys. I preached it, and I'll continue to preach it. Bankroll management, bankroll management, bankroll management. Guys, thank you very much for all this support. Really, really appreciate it. Feel free to ask any more questions. I'm going to continue to do these. If you guys don't mind in the future me using your name or whoever, let me know. And I'll be back with another video like this soon, guys. So as always, thank you very much and have a very lucky day.